Hello, welcome to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and our local partner Sprocket Innovation in Paducah and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. Last week, I got to start with an apology. Last week, I misspoke and said that last week was episode 140. In fact, it was 139. This week is episode 140. This week, we're going to talk about something that is a very boring topic when you first hear it, but it's actually really interesting. And in cybersecurity world now, it's a must-have, and that's insurance. Cybersecurity insurance, cyber insurance is a must for every person, every organization that's out there. And frankly, it's a issue that you probably don't think about, but that you assume you have, or maybe you don't care about. And both of those are incorrect assumptions. So let's talk about cyber insurance. And in particular, we're going to talk about considerations when purchasing cyber insurance. That's our topic for this week's. There are a number of things that you should think about. There's a number of things that you need to consider when you're doing cyber insurance. And what we want to do today is kind of talk through those pieces of what is it that you should be thinking about? What is it that you should be doing when you're getting cyber insurance? And let me just start off with the basics. Cyber insurance is not business liability insurance. There was a time when a lot of that overlapped. That time has been gone for a while. With the rise of ransomware, with the rise of cyber attacks, with data breaches, with customer records being leaked, all of those pieces have come to a place now in the world where cyber insurance is vital, but cyber insurance companies are looking to ways to not have to pay claims. For example, if you have health insurance and it asks if you're a smoker and you put no, I'm not a smoker, but you are, well, if you end up with lung cancer, there's a good chance your insurance isn't going to pay for your treatments. Same way with cyber insurance. Cyber insurance is looking at what you say you're doing, and based on that, they're projecting the risk of taking you on as a client. Well, if you lie, if you tell them something that you're not actually doing, then you're a bigger risk than they planned for, and they actually may deny your claim. So with that said, when you're thinking about cyber insurance, the first step you have is to fill out the form. Well, that form has that application now may have 14 or 15 pages in it. And there's a lot of detailed questions that you have to answer. And let me tell you, every question, you have to be honest. You have to be honest. If you put something on that form that you're not being honest about, then and actually it doesn't even have to relate to the claim. So if you put that I don't know, that you have a website that has no commerce on it, and then you get a ransomware attack because somebody clicked an email. One doesn't have anything to do with the other, let's assume, yet they may deny your claim because you lied on your application. Your application is the first step that an insurance company has in denying your claim. They're looking that you are being truthful on everything. Now, will they deny your claim? That's between you and your insurance company, but they could, and they have the right because you falsified that information. Maybe it's not even on purpose, but you did it. So you've got to be honest. That is really important. Now, you have to be honest, but they're also looking for things on that application. And in today's world, if you're not doing a lot of really basic things, then they may not provide you coverage. For example, there was a school district in Illinois about a year ago when they were up for renewal for their cyber insurance. They were denied their coverage until they implemented multi-factor authentication all across their network. And it's not just on this system over here, it's got to be all across the network. That's what they're looking for. So, what are some of these areas that they are looking for? First, we'll talk about is risk management. They want to do a risk assessment of your organization. They want to know that you're considering the risk of your organization and planning the security controls relating to addressing those risks. They're looking at that. If you've already done that, great. They're going to be really happy with you. If you haven't, the first thing they're going to do is come in and do a risk assessment. That's going to be an important piece of how much coverage that they'll give you and how much that coverage is going to cost. That risk assessment is a big piece. And let me say what they're looking at in all of these things I'm getting ready to talk about is that they want to know that you're thinking, I guess the best word to say is holistically about your approach to security. That it's not just, oh, I need a firewall, let's get a firewall. Oh, I heard somebody say that I needed two-factor authentication, so I'm doing two-factor authentication. They want to know that you've thought through this process and that it is well thought out. It's not a one-time thing that you're going back and you're planning and you're planning and you're implementing and you're doing the things that you need to do to keep your business safe. That's what they want to know. So with that in mind, technical controls. What technical controls do you have in place? Do you have multi-factor authentication? Let me tell you, from talking with friends in the insurance industry, if you don't have multi-factor authentication, when it comes time to renew your contract, your insurance, there's a good chance you don't get it. It's that important today. It's that important today. So I highly recommend if you've not already done it, first of all, that means you haven't been listening to the last 139 episodes because I talk about it all the time. But that is a good chance that you're not going to get that when it's coming time to renew your contract. So that's an important piece. Another one, and let me say, I mentioned multi-factor authentication before, but it is encrypting your data. It is securing your connections. It's securing your network. It is a lot of different pieces, but the technical controls are important. And I'll talk when I finish about some checklists. There's tons of checklists out there to think about. Administrative controls. It's those managerial controls. It's those non-technical processes that you have in your organization. What are you doing from that standpoint? Again, there's a lot of those. There's policies, there's procedures, there's things that you should be doing. And I'm going to highlight one, and that's the security awareness training. We talk about that all the time. But if you are not doing security awareness training, again, when it comes time to renew your insurance, either one, you're going to get denied, which there's a very good chance at that, or two, it's going to be at such a price that it makes it hard for you to get it because you've got to do security awareness training. The biggest threat to a provider, to insurance provider right now, is a user clicking a link in an email. That's how ransomware is spreading. Not the only way, but a big way. The user has such an impact on the severity of a cyber attack. You've got to make sure that you're doing that training. You got to have those policies. You got to have those procedures. You got to have those steps in place to show that you have a holistic approach to cybersecurity in your organization. And then lastly, you got to have ongoing monitoring. What do I mean by ongoing monitoring? One, you've got to revisit your security. It's got to be an ongoing process. Yes, it absolutely does. That's not exactly what I'm talking about here, but that's an important piece. What I'm specifically talking about here, if you're not monitoring the data that's flowing across your network, the traffic on your network, the systems on your network, then how are you going to know if you get attacked? How are you going to know if you have a data breach? It could take up to 6 months for people to detect that there's somebody on their network. It's certainly going to take a long time if you're not monitoring, if you're not looking, if you don't know how to look, it's going to take you a long time. Every day that an intruder is on your network, the more expensive the recovery cost is, the more it's going to take for an insurance company to do to more costly it's going to be for an insurance company. So you got to make sure that you're doing that. And last thing, let me say, there's a ton of checklists. I pulled these pictures. I did cyber insurance checklist, and there's a ton of graphics that pop up. There's a ton of things out there that can help guide you through this process. My point with today is one, if you don't have cyber insurance, you've got to get it today. Your company, your organization is going to be at risk for something that you probably can't manage. Cyber insurance is a way to help mitigate that risk. Number two, if you think you have coverage today or you're wanting to get coverage today and you're not doing the things I just talked about, chances are one, you may not have the coverage you think you have, and two, you may not be able to get it if you want it. It's an important thing. It's not an exciting topic, but it's an important piece. And because the attacks are on the rise, the insurance component is more important now than ever. So I hope you found that interesting. It's a lot of information to pack into a short amount of time. It's really important. I hope you listened. I hope you understood it. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I'm not a cyber insurance provider, but I certainly know folks in the field, and I can make some connections for you if you have questions that you want to follow up on. My information will be on the closing screen. Thank you very much, and I'll see you back here next week on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.